Heather McDonald has got the juiciest scoop. When you're on the road, when you're on the go, Juicy Scoop is the show to know. She talks Hollywood tales, her real life Mr. Segment serial data and serial sister. You'll be addicted and addicted fast to the #1 tabloid real life podcast. Listen in, listen up. Whoop whoop. Heather McDonald, Juicy Scoop.
Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. Lots of fun, juicy things to talk about with Sarah Colonna, one of our favorites and a good friend of mine. But first, I just want to address what happened this weekend. For those of you that are not part of Patreon, I did drop a Patreon on Sunday evening because of what transpired in my personal life on Saturday night. On Saturday, this is not a great photo, so I don't even know if I want to put this up. I didn't post it, but my sister and I were in Palm Desert, and we met up with Kelly Dodd and Megan Weaver, who is best known for being on Jeff Lewis's TV show, Hollywood Houselift, as well as a regular on his radio show. And I have known her for years. She's been on this show as an individual guest a few years ago. She's been to my house for a couple dinner parties, as well as an all-girl birthday party. We've gone out several times with just girls. We've been very friendly for a long time. And I was thrilled to have a fun day with them. We had a fun day and met up at Kelly Dodd's house that night, in which we were having a great conversation. And then she turned to me and said the most cruel things that anyone has ever said to me to my face in my life. She did it in front of several people, and including my sister, the attorney. And it was horrible. And I left in tears, and I went back to my sister's house, and I recorded a Patreon from my phone, not knowing if I would share it. I kept checking my phone thinking she's obviously going to realize how unfair and cruel this was, and text me. Nothing in the morning from her. Still have yet to hear, and I'm recording this Monday at 11. So, I did share it, and I share things on Patreon because that's where I share my personal stuff. And I really love just getting the support and feedback. And sometimes it's like, I don't agree with you, Heather. In this one, it was 99.9% incredible support. And that's why I do it. The only other people that would support me that much are my parents, and they're dead. So that's why I do it. And I want to thank everybody for being so nice. No one should have to ever experienced something like this, whether you're 12 or 52. It was awful. And I have spoken to Jeff. I shared my story. We've been friends for so long, for over 15 years. We've never gone 6 months without seeing each other in person. I've been on a show from the very beginning. I've known Kelly Dodd since 2014. It was so bizarre. And I was made to feel that, these people that are on his show don't like me. There's been a lot of talking about me behind my back. And it was an awful feeling because every time I would do that show, I would be thrilled to go and left there on a high and feeling like the people in that room enjoyed me. She made it very clear that they do not. I have not heard from anybody except for Jeff. So I'm confident that Jeff and I can remain friends. I will never do his show again. That's how I feel. He hopes that I change my mind. At this point, I don't think so. And what's kind of beautiful about that is when I had times where I felt like this in my previous job on TV for 7.5 years, I didn't have the option to leave. I didn't have another way to be creative and have a platform or make money. And now I do, thanks to Juicy Scoop, thanks to the empire that I've built. That feels like an empire, even though it's a small one. I don't ever have to be in the presence of anybody that doesn't find me wonderful. One of the things I said on the Patreon episode was, at this age, I don't fuck with anyone who doesn't find me wonderful. Annie's going to make merch. It's going to compete with Send It to Daryl. And no, I really feel like that. Like, and if and when I do get any kind of apology from her, Megan Weaver, to me, I will be confident that she's really only sorry that I shared the story. And I shared the story because I've never been in the position to protect people that treat me horribly, and neither should you. And she had all day to reach out and say, I think you're feeling bad. She did not care that I was feeling bad all night, all morning, while she was having fun at tennis, while she was posting. I still wish her success. I don't want to see her lose her position or anything in life. I don't know what she's going to say, why she chose to say those awful things. 100% I think she felt all those things and she has a right to feel it, but there's no need for me to have ever had to receive that information in that way ever. And I've never done anything outwardly cruel to say to her or exclude her or anything. So it was just like really unbelievable. And I don't wish that on anybody. I also want to clarify that one of the players in the story was Chef Stu, who is on and off again boyfriends with Jeff Lewis. And when I told the story, I said he was agreeing with the first part of the conversation of the stuff she had said. That's why I know there's been a lot of conversation behind my back, which makes me very uncomfortable to enter that space again. But as the conversation went on and as she kept saying more and more like weird and mean things to me, really attacking my character and morals, Stu did defend me. He did say this has gone on too far. He did text me that night. He did call me the next day. And he was very nice. So I don't know if I made that clear in the Patreon, but I wanted to say that. And also during this conversation, I want to say that Kelly and Rick were not present to hear it. She said it in front of my sister and her boyfriend and Stuart. And I'm excited to do the show with my friend. I'm wearing this shirt, Jesus Loves Me the Most, which is a Juicy Scoop merch item, which I have kind of felt it's a little controversial, but I feel like I really needed it today. So there you go. You can get the scoop from there or not. And, don't be going after anybody. I don't need it. I just wanted to share it with you guys. Of course, just like anything, people leave comments on people's pages. And that doesn't bring me any joy. I just needed to tell my story because it was just so weird and devastating and made me feel like I was the Catholic schoolgirl who got invited to the cool public school party. No, nothing against public school kids, but this happened to me when I was 8. And I really thought they were excited to have me. And the whole reason they invited me was to ambush me that night and be cruel to me to the point where I wanted to call my mom and have her pick me up, but I knew that she probably wouldn't. So thank God for Uber and my sister because I did not have to stay in that environment any longer than I wanted to. And I left. And that's what it felt like. And it was awful. So there you guys go. And so I want to just really quickly before Sarah gets here, just give you the latest on the Vanderpump. We are not going to do a whole day of Vanderpump, but there was one thing that has transpired that I thought you'd find interesting. Katie Maloney, who was married to Tom Schwartz. Tom Schwartz and Tom Sandoval are all the best friends, right? Tom Schwartz had this roommate after he moved out, a platonic roommate named Joe, who happened to be Kristen Doty, who is a former person on the show, friends with everybody, and was also the ex-girlfriend of Tom Sandoval. This was her former best friend. They were best friends. This girl was always around. From November on, or even prior to that, Schwartz and Joe and Raquel and Tom Sandoval would go out, and they didn't, to Ariana's knowledge, I don't believe she thought it was a double date. I think she thought it was all platonic friends hanging out. But the four of them would go out a lot and spend a lot of time together. We now know that Schwartz and Joe are a couple. And so the question, which was all wondering, just like how much did Erica Girardi know? How much did Tom Schwartz know? And when did he find out? Because if they were all hanging out like this and Joe and Schwartz, this girl Joe and Schwartz were intimate or whatever, and they're hanging out with two other people who we know have been intimate since August, and this is in November, it's also just very telling. So over the weekend, Katie Maloney posted, Joe is spooky. I mean, none of us could stand to be around her. Her energy is on par with a crackhead. But when Tom and I announced our divorce almost a year ago, the last thing she texted me was, quote, Bieber loves you, I love you, and I'm so supporting of your inner thoughts and visions. live in the moment. You're a gem, and I've always respected you. I love you, XO Joe. She continues to write, Joe is a psycho, and I will also light her on fire with Rachel, aka Raquel, aka Rachel. So this is an interesting development, as I said. Also, the Vanderpump trailer for the next episodes just dropped. And some of it is from before the scandal, and a lot of it is since the scandal. And it is so raw, and it's this creepy music. And I have chills just thinking about it. But we see Ariana and Tom talking, and he goes, do you want anything? Like he's being in the kitchen, like trying to get her a cup of something. And she goes, for you to die. That's the way it ends. We also see Raquel saying, I don't regret this relationship. It looks so good. I have chills, and this is just going to be the juiciest show ever. So you have to watch that. Super juicy and exciting. So here we go. Here we go with Sarah. Let's bring her on. Hello. And I have the juicy scooper with the best hair. I've got Sarah Colonna, funny, great skin, just a good time. My friend, welcome back to Juicy Scoop, girl.
Thanks, girl. Thanks for the compliments. My hair was feeling a little big this morning. So
Really? Well, I think it looks great. Now, you shared with me this picture, and I would like you to explain what is this sad situation of you. This is you on the road. It was a traveling comedian.
Well, no,
this is a traveling funny lady. No, what is this?
It was actually not a comedian job. It
Okay.
I was visiting a friend of mine
Okay.
from college. Now it's a bit of an involved story, but I have not seen him in years and years. And we were like him and another friend. There's like 4 of us that were really close in college.
Yeah.
And he reached out to us in December and said, I have some health issues. We should all get together. So
Nice.
he has prostate cancer, but he is in treatment. So we're not quite sure, but it was kind of like, it was kind of cool. It was one of those things where
Yeah.
everyone was like, yeah, great. We're going to Danville, Illinois
Nice.
to see him, even though we all haven't been together in years. Well, he said, I have plenty of room for you guys. He has like an apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment, but it was going to be 3 girls.
Okay.
And so I thought,
Let's get a hotel.
yeah, let's just do a hotel. He said, they're not great around here, but they're, like get one close to me.
Sure.
He said, there's one that's fine.
Okay.
And this is the one that he thought was fine, but he didn't know. In his defense, he had no idea. I don't even, first of all, like it looks like a bloody shirt in the corner.
Well, there's like construction happening.
Well, I guess that's construction. It doesn't look like construction that anyone knew what they were doing. Kind of, it looks like someone just went and knocked the wall out and then was like, that looks good, and left. I don't know. I mean, I like that
So
the TVs and the.
You walked in.
Well, I didn't. I'll be honest. I hadn't turned around yet when I walked in.
Yeah.
It was like late at night, and I walked.
Oh, late at night on top of it.
Yeah, and I walked straight up to the desk, and the lady she was kind of asleep in the back.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
and so I said, "Oh, miss, hey." So she woke up and came over, and I checked in, and then I turned around and saw what was happening. First of all, I asked her for some water because I had just driven from like 45 minutes away after 2 flights,
Okay.
So I asked her for some water, and she said, "Oh, we don't have any water yet." And I thought, well, I don't know what that means. Does that mean the whole hotel? Does that mean?
So there's no bottles of water anywhere.
She said, I think we have some pop in the corner. And
The word pop is.
I know. And I also didn't know what corner. I didn't know what any of that meant. So I was
Yeah.
like, I'm good.
Yeah.
So then I turned around and then I saw that.
Okay.
And I thought, this doesn't look right to me. But I trekked on over to the elevator, and then that elevator opened, and there was like some hand smears and some graffiti.
Like someone was trying to escape from the
It
elevator.
kind of looked like someone had tried to get out of, and maybe they tried to write. There was names. Maybe that was the last thing they ever wrote. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Or they're just tagging that elevator as their gang space, so no one else could go in it.
Sure, I don't know that
Yeah.
there's a big gang problem in Danville, Illinois. I think
Okay.
it was just.
Nobody got around to cleaning it.
So I turned back around and because I thought, well, I'm just going to go stay at my friend's, because now it was only 2 of us. One of the girls couldn't end up
Okay.
coming. And he said he had a trundle bed. So I was like, I'm just going to go back.
Done.
Yeah. So I went up to the lady and I said, I'm sorry, this just isn't what I was expecting. Can I uncheck in? And she said she was so confused. I felt bad because she was like, I guess she was offended. She said, she said, what's wrong with our hotel? First she said that. And I thought, what?
So was it
Like-
not a name brand?
It was a Wyndham,
Okay.
owned by Wyndham. It was like a Days, I believe, that Wyndham had purchased. And
Okay.
their reviews online were fine. Like, it said there was
Do
a
you
restaurant.
feel like you did your homework?
I
'Cause
did my homework.
I definitely don't do my homework about stuff like this.
I did.
I do now, but there was a long time where I didn't. So,
No, I do.
Okay.
And I'm not, I mean, yes, I'm picky but I've stayed in some, as you know,
yeah.
some real shit as
Yeah.
comedians. Like sometimes there's just no option. But
Right.
so, so I said, well, I got to go. And she said, nobody's ever done this before. I don't know what to do. And I said,
And then
it's fine.
was there any part of you that, being a nice female from our generation that never wants to hurt anyone's feelings, that you thought, maybe I'll act like I checked in, pay for it, and then just run away
Yes. I mean, I
to
was
not hurt this woman's feelings?
Well, I didn't realize that her feelings would be hurt. I thought she'd be like, yeah, no,
Who
I know
cares?
we're missing a wall and I told you there's no water and like, I get it. Like, of course you're not going to stay here. I kind of thought that was going to be her response, but she seemed deeply offended. So then I said, it's cool. I'll figure it out with, she goes, well, where did you book it? And I was like, on your website, on the Wyndham website. She's like, I mean, it was all.
Also, whenever you book something that's not on theirs, they're like, that's why it sucks. That's why you got charged. Or that's why your room isn't here. Did you do it on this other website? We can't help you. Haven't you ever had
Yeah,
that
if
happen
you
where
would-
you get like a deal, like an Expedia or something? They're always like, woof. Yeah, that's why you got to do it on ours.
But-
and you're like, what?
Well, I did do it on theirs, but what is
Yeah.
if I did it on Expedia, like,
I think, yeah.
is that why the wall got knocked out?
Yeah,
And then
that's
if
why I
went-
think they always want you to say, oh, I did on this. And they're like, we don't fuck with third parties. So
Right.
that's why you're screwed.
Yeah.
That's why you don't get cleaning service. That's why we don't know who you are.
I don't know what happened, but the next morning when I woke up and I was on my my American Express app, it was already refunded. And I didn't
Ooh.
even make a phone call.
Well, all
So,
right.
but
Okay.
I did walk in to meet my friend. I texted him. I said, I can't. I said, Trundlebed's still open, right? And he was like, yeah. And I said, cool. I can't stay here. And then I walked in and it was like this little dive bar and he was with a couple friends and they kind of made a couple quick comments like, oh, California, you're not in California about the hotel. And I go, no. I'm
Here's
from
some evidence.
Farmington, Arkansas. Here's the photo. And they went, oh, Jesus Christ. I don't know. They were like, we don't know what happened.
City lady.
Yeah.
California blown. You're
Yeah.
like, no.
No, this is just not. I like that there's a TV though, just in case you want to stand in the middle of there's nowhere to sit. So you could just stand there and stare
Well,
at the TV.
There's been a debate going on for many years with the influx of a VRBO, which is where you rent the houses from people. Is that a better thing? That seemed to a lot of people like that. And then there was people, I saw some people being like, no, hotels are the way to go. The whole joy of going to a hotel is that you can go to a hotel and be at a hotel bar and leave it messy and all this other stuff.
Apparently this one had a bar, by the way.
One of the stories that is Chris's favorite story of mine is that I was staying at a hotel once and I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the restaurant. I don't want to eat in the room because I'm by myself all weekend. I'm going to go to the restaurant and eat there. And when I got to the restaurant, it was literally just like, it looked like this room with like 5 tables in it, like no windows, no atmosphere, just like, and then one guy came out and I was like, this is just too depressing. I don't want to order the food here. And I go, oh, sorry, I have to go. Okay. So I didn't order any food and I went back to my room, but I was hungry. So then I ordered the room service and I made a whole backstory. Like I have to go, like this long story because I think I might have ordered like a water and whatever. So, and then when I ordered the food, he came to deliver it. And I felt like it was so rude. Like I wanted to eat this food and it was the same thing that I had ordered with him. And then I took out the order and then I went to my room and ordered the room service from the place. And it was like, I did want this tuna melt. I just didn't want it with you.
Yeah.
And I just felt terrible about it. And so it's like,
listen, it's not, this is not the fault of the nice lady that
No,
I checked in
or the
with.
people
And
that
that is
were-
not the fault of the
this
room.
guy.
Sometimes we just want to be alone.
So I wanted to share this story that happened. I think we discovered it on Thursday. And I said, I have to talk about it with Sarah because she knows Peter very well, my husband. So Peter and Drake were going to go skiing. And originally they were going to get a house with these other people. And they're going to a place that is really just like for like the hardcore skiers. So I like to go to like Deer Valley, which is like very shishi and Park City and easy runs. But since I wasn't going, and then all these people flaked. So Peter goes, I just got a VRBO just for Drake and I. It's like a 2-bedroom, whatever. And I go, okay, fine. So he gets there and they say they have the skiing is good. Drake's like, well, I go, how's the place? I call him and he goes, well, it's like we're like in someone's basement, like the people are upstairs. But Dad and I each have our own rooms. And so, I mean, I guess it's fine. He goes, they're nice. They're like, they left us these donuts and stuff. Like, what do you mean they left you these donuts? They said, if you want these donuts, you can have these donuts. And I go, okay, fine. So they don't tell me anything about it. They just said they had a good time skiing. So Peter comes back and he's like, whoa, they gave me a 1-star review. You know, they can review the guest. And he's like, and I gave them a 5-star because they asked me to review them. I was going to be their first review. And he's like, I didn't think it was that great, but I gave him a 5-star. And I'm like,
Wait,
whoa.
They asked him to review and then they went and gave him a 1-star?
1-star. And I go, whoa. I don't think you guys are telling me the whole story. I immediately called Drake and I go, Drake, do you really think those donuts were left for you? Because I'm like, how did someone get so upset? So Peter then sends me all the exchange between them throughout the visit. And so as I was reading it, I'm going to tell you what I was first thinking. And then there's a follow-up that happened.
Okay.
So the first exchange starts with Peter saying, okay, we are on our way 30 minutes out. The owner says, great, see you soon. Hi. Then later in the day, hi, are there trash liners? We need some. And a few eggs for tomorrow. Thanks, Peter. And I go, wait a minute, Peter. Why are you asking for them to get you groceries? That's what I'm trying to be like, pushing the limit.
Yeah.
Pushing it. And he goes, no, they said that they would get that for us or something. So I'm like, all right.
Did you see any proof of that? Did you see a text from anyone that said, can we get you
a little bit
groceries?
later.
Okay.
I don't know why. So then he goes, we're skiing now. I go, now this isn't a bed and breakfast. This was a VRBO. So I'm confused. So this is them having a great time. They're snowmobiling, they're skiing.
Thinking that they're coming home to some eggs.
Yeah. And then you got it. We have those for you. He said about the eggs, the owner. Then Peter says, hi, I'm looking for the thermostat. I'm like, see, Peter, you're pushing it. He goes, I was freezing. We're in a basement. He goes, we'd like it a couple degrees in the bedrooms, a little couple degrees higher in the bedrooms. The guy goes, hi there. We can control the thermostat remotely. It's currently at 70 degrees. I'm like, I already feel like this guy's getting irritated.
Yeah.
70's appropriate. I like a 72. Like, who are these pussies from California?
Right.
In
70
Utah?
is
Like,
yeah.
So we can adjust it to any temp you need. I'm bumping it up to 72. Please let us know if you need it adjusted further. Like, I can feel it. The guy is like having it. I go, well, who are these people? And he said they're like 30, a husband and a wife. And the husband was like a bartender. So he would come home at like midnight and he would take a shower. And where Drake's room was, he could hear the water running and stuff. So Drake had like a less desirable room than Peter, but they were like in the basement and they thought it was fine. Peter also told me.
So the people were upstairs
Yes.
the whole time. Got it. Okay.
Peter also told me there was another thing where he said, we'll meet you and go through the house rules, like when they were first checking in. And I'm like, what were the rules? And he goes, well, I mean, they didn't want us to bring any of our ski equipment inside and not wear any shoes inside. But I go, but you did? And he goes, I don't know. I mean, like, maybe. And I go, oh God. And I go, and also and then I find out this is the first time these people have done their VRBO. Okay. So I'm imagining this young couple. I'm thinking she never wanted to do this shit.
Right.
The bartender husband pushed her to do it.
Yeah.
He says, hey, it's just 2 people. It's actually sleep 6. It says for 6. He's like, I don't have 6 people. So he's like, honey, it's just 2. It's just a man and his little
son.
And his little son.
Yeah.
And then here comes 6'4" Drake and giant Peter with all their freaking ski equipment and heavy shoes. And they even said, oh, you're coming here to ski? I don't know if they thought they were making snowman or what. So I don't think they liked that. Okay, so then it continues on. Hey guys, the owner. Hope you're enjoying your time so far. We're running errands before the snowstorm tonight. Is there anything we can pick up to restock you for the morning? Would you like a unit refresh tomorrow? Restock beds, kitchen cleanup. They're saying they're going to do all this. Peter pushing it. Milk would be nice and a fresh up. Always pushing the limit. Okay. The guy goes, hi. Then Peter goes, hi, we had a wonderful stay. We wanted to ski in the morning and come back at 12 to shower and head out at 12:30. Could we do that? Usually with VRBOs, they want you out by like 10:30.
Oh, that's
can't check in
okay.
until 4.
I was wondering why he's giving him time. Got
pushing the limit. Okay.
Yes.
The guy says, absolutely. We don't have a check-in tomorrow, so we can do that. Is there anything else we can do for you for the remainder of your stay? Peter says, everything is 5-star. We still have breakfast here for tomorrow morning. We had fun time, meaning we have enough of those eggs and that milk that we can make our own breakfast.
Yeah. Self-sufficient that way.
And he goes, we're happy to hear that. And we are glad you get to squeeze in a bit more skiing tomorrow. We would love it if you left us our first review. Peter says, and then he goes, we'll meet you at the unit for the walkthrough and check out. Now Peter says, running a bit late. Can we head out at 12:45? This is where the wife is like,
yeah,
I never wanted to do this. Okay? These giants
stomping around in their
with
snow
their milk
gear.
and eggs. Yeah.
Yeah. Asking us for groceries. Isn't a VRBO normally like the point is like you get your own groceries and
stuff? I don't
like
understand why this became an Airbnb. This is what I think happened. I think they offered it. And again, maybe she didn't want him to offer it. Maybe they didn't know. They offered it, and now they're resentful. They're feeling like they're running like a bed and breakfast.
Right.
And you can't offer Peter eggs and milk and...
Because he's going to say yes.
He's going to say yes.
Yeah.
Peter's not the person that's like, whoa, don't want to inconvenience you. That's not Peter. Okay?
Right. I mean, it is their fault for offering it. Because I've any Airbnb, whatever I've stayed at, it's always been like you bring your own stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway,
so then he says,
12:45.
We hope you had a great stay. We'd appreciate a good review for you in the unit. And so then Peter then writes, yes, I gave you a 5-star or whatever. And then not only gets the 1-star review, they then wrote and said, we want $500 back, an extra $500, the people.
Wait, what? For what?
They took a photo of a little piece of scrambled egg on one of the chairs at the kitchen. So while they were eating, I guess a piece of scrambled egg fell on a chair. I'm not kidding. There was a rug with there was a white part of the rug that looked like there was a small yellow marking.
Okay.
And therefore they want $500 extra
to pick up the piece of egg?
Uh-huh.
Okay. These people might I do see where Peter pushed it. Okay. You got to be like, no, we're
But he
good.
did repay by giving him a 5-star review.
He gave him a 5-star review. Also, like you said, they did offer the groceries. So if someone offers it, I mean, if I was like,
it's like,
oh,
we're going out. We know where the grocery store is, whatever.
Yeah, it sounds like that. Maybe if he was stomping around in the ski gear, they got irritated about that. I could see.
The ski gear, I guess he didn't leave outside. He put inside. And also he wore shoes, not ski boots, but he wore shoes and they didn't want shoes. But he said none of that stuff was written in the initial thing to order it. So when you do it, normally they should say, hey, there's no elevator, so we can't have like a handicapped person here.
Right.
They need to say all that stuff so that you don't get there and then are on the 4th floor. Like one time we rented a place and we were skiing in Aspen and it was four stories high with no elevator. And we had to bring up all of our ski gear and stuff.
Oh, no, that's not fun.
And when we got there was a half-eaten burrito left in the microwave. And then while we were there, a glass happened to break and we cleaned it up best we thought. And they gave us a 1-star review and said, a glass was broken and all the stuff. And we're like, you had no elevator and there was a half-eaten burrito when we got there. And you didn't hear from us. Like, this is where I'm like, I don't even know what people should do. Because you either have your sad situation it's a risk. But you never know. You can get lucky.
That's true.
Or you can get not lucky.
And you do, I mean, the thing is, you usually can do a lot of like reading first,
Yeah.
right? I swear I read enough to think that. I mean, obviously nobody had said, "Oh no, the hotel has since turned into a murder hotel since last time." But you didn't have any reviews to go off for these people,
No.
right? So, and now Peter should go change his probably and be like, because if he wore shoes inside and if he like tracked a bunch of stuff around, that's one thing. But they were just mad about a piece of egg that didn't come off his shoe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's not $500.
Well, I think the fight between the two of them was probably like, we were never supposed to get them eggs. Now there's eggs and I have to clean it. This is what the wife's saying
Right.
to him. And he's like, I thought this was a great way we could make more income. And she's like, I thought it was a man and his little boy. I didn't think it was two 1'6'3" and 1'6'5" giant at my house eating eggs and demanding that we,
But you could
get
just
the
pick
milk.
the egg up. I mean,
I
it's
agree.
not, that's a little
Drake
extreme.
couldn't believe. So then I go back to Drake and I go, I think it goes down to the donuts. I think that's weird that they offered you. Are you sure? I go, was it like a whole box and then you guys had several and they didn't get any? And he goes, no, Mom. They had 2 donuts left under like a glass dome thing and said, we left you some donuts. And I'm like, all
Okay.
right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that Drake would lie to you.
No, I mean, but
No.
I just thought maybe he misunderstood and ate an entire thing of donuts. And then she came home from getting the eggs and was like, all I wanted was that one donut. And that
Right.
giant little shit ate it. So I was trying to figure out what happened.
Something's missing here. Something's missing, but I could be. You might have to do a juicy scoop investigation.
I know. Well,
but
I've interviewed both of them extensively, Peter and Drake.
can we interview the owners of the VRBO? Because I want to talk to them and find out what happened. Because this is, and for them to ask for now, is Peter giving them the $500? I don't. That doesn't seem right. Unless he actually ruined something.
No, I don't think so. I think
Or those
this is-
donuts
I
had
think
gold
this-
in the middle of
I
them.
think this is going to go be disputed or something. There's no way Peter is agreeing to this.
for a piece of egg being in
Yeah.
his chair. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So that's the story.
Can he go back and change his review? I almost feel like he should. Unless we get to the bottom of it and something else happens.
Can you change a review after you leave a review? You kind of shouldn't
Probably
be allowed
not.
to.
I guess you shouldn't be allowed to.
I don't
'cause
think
that
you should
wouldn't
be
make
allowed to
sense.
because then that makes it sound like a retaliation. thing.
Right. And that's what I'm trying to do is retaliate for you. And
I
that's
just
not right.
think leaving the review, whether it's like you get reviewed on Uber or Lyft and stuff, it is interesting. It reminds me of that what that was Black Magic? No, what's it called? The that show on Netflix that was Black Mirror. Did you ever see that Black Mirror?
I
where-
never saw it.
Oh my gosh, there was an episode in Black Mirror. It's so good if you guys have never seen Black Mirror. It's like a modern day Twilight Zone kind of a thing. And a lot of things are like in the future, just like the Twilight Zone was, the episodes. And it's the world is you get evaluated on everything. The way you ordered a drink, whatever. People review you and your personality, your behavior, your
Oh.
how nice of a person you are, whatever. And this one girl's score like keeps going down. And then it gets to the point where like her friend is like, I can't have you be in the wedding. Like it's all public knowledge that you're like a 3-3. And the only bridesmaids I want are like 5 and above. And like you can't get housing, it's like it's society, but it's all about like,
Rating you by your person.
like
how you,
this. And
That's
I'm sure
crazy.
the person got the idea from like, wow, people get rated for their behavior on Lyft and Uber and this and that, which I mean makes sense, It's like, but people get thrown off
Yeah.
airplanes now, and none of that stuff like existed
Yeah.
10
that's
years
true.
ago, where like your behavior could be so examined, like really seeking out assholes.
Have you ever seen like your rating on Uber and kind of been confused? Because they don't do it by ride or anything, but I think like a 4.8 or something. And I'm like, why am I not a 5? I don't know what I've ever done. I always tip 20%. I never make anyone wait. Can't figure out.
I think
what
it's
I've
almost
done.
like my podcast, iTunes podcast rating. Like it's always at like a 4.8 or something because there's enough people that whatever reason hated me and brought it down to a 1. So I think last I checked it was like a 4.8, and I don't know why. It could have just been that like I know because I'm always like I always leave a tip. I'm always like so nice.
Yeah, maybe it's just
And
like I
I've
didn't
never
wanna
like
drive
thrown up
there.
in a. I understand if you puke in a car or something.
Oh,
I've never
sure.
done that.
Yeah.
And I always feel like I go above and beyond especially if I'm with someone, to give an incredible juicy scoop story. We are talking name dropping Hollywood stories. I'm like, this guy wants to send this to DeMont, no problem. Like, I just want this to be fun for this person.
Right.
And I almost like amp it up with like how good the info is. and so it really
I want to
bugged me.
be your Uber driver. That sounds fun.
It really is. So this is kind of an interesting story. The author of the book that was the inspiration for Mean Girls, the movie, now a play. Isn't it a play too?
Yeah.
Um,
Musical, I think.
so her name is Rosalind Wiseman, and she is out slamming Tina Fey and Paramount. She's planning to take legal action against Paramount Studios for allegedly what she believes they are withholding revenue. So the book was Queen Bees and Wannabes, and she sold the movie rights, the film rights, for $400,000. But she's pissed because she's not gotten 1 ounce of compensation beyond the $400,000 and thinks it's unfair, considering how successful the movie was and how it has changed society. And she's also mad that Tina Fey hasn't showed her any support, being that she's such a supporter of women. And she also said she was supposed to receive net costs once the movie hit the theaters, but apparently the studio told her the film gained extra costs, so there was no net costs extra, so they didn't have any ability to pay her anymore. So now she's coming out now and she's pissed.
I mean, I get being pissed that you sold it for 400,000 and then it went way but it's kind of, I mean, it's the deal was made, right? Like that's what sucks about the whole situation. It's like hopefully your agent puts in like, if it becomes this, then this, if this
Like
happens,
if it
this,
becomes
like,
a Broadway play, if it makes $10 million in residuals, you get a version of the residuals. Or if it goes, or also in 2004, they didn't know how to also say, and when it's streaming on Netflix, you know, because that didn't exist. So probably the deal happened. And as an author, when you write a book, and you've written two and I've written two, you always think, oh gosh, won't it be great if someone makes this a movie?
Yeah.
So when you get that offer to buy the movie rights or whatever, and 400,000, especially almost 20 years ago, she was probably totally thrilled and didn't think that it would be like such a classic.
Yeah.
And they always are going to say there's more cost, and it's impossible to find out really the truth.
Yeah.
You need a forensic accountant back in 2004 to really figure out if they were telling the truth or not.
I mean, it sucks. Like, I totally get where she's coming from.
Yeah.
But because I even remember when I sold my book to be a TV show, there was things of okay, and if it gets made, then this per episode, or if a story comes directly from the book, like there was little things. But I mean, it didn't get made, so I don't have anyone to be mad at except for.
But you know what's great
it,
about a book, which is why I tell people when someone says, I want to write a movie or I want to write a series, I always say, try to write a book first, because a book is like a business card. It's a calling card. And like your book or whatever, it could be made into a TV show 10 years from now. And when that deal happens, then you can do a whole nother deal that would involve streaming, or if it gets cut into little things or whatever, but like whatever was made in 2004 is a completely different world as it is today. And I guess you
like
don't know the
like
success.
TV shows, from the 70s that, are still on, right?
Yeah, no, I don't think they're
never
bitter.
seeing anything, or like streaming service too. It's crazy, like you said, because that, like Netflix, until recently, they didn't pay residuals at all.
Right.
And so think about, I don't know, Orange is the New Black, and how like it went international. I mean, I have no idea what their deal was or what they got paid, but usually you would end up getting residuals from how often it was played.
If that was on ABC and it was repeating as much as like, the Cosby Show, that would be a different situation. Than.
I mean,
there was no contract in the actors of the Cosby Show, and if Dad Cosby gets convicted of rape and goes to prison, then the show won't be airing anymore. They didn't have that in their contract either.
No,
nobody knows.
Well, and also, I mean, I get what she's saying about Tina Fey being, but I don't know what Tina Fey's supposed to do.
No.
She can't go, just go send her. I don't know. Like,
There's nothing for Tina Fey to do. And then somebody wrote, like, I want to say someone DM'd me or sent it to me and was like, I worked on this movie, and the writer was a pain in the ass, allegedly.
Oh, really?
But who knows?
Right.
If this person's not a movie maker and they're like, this is so overwhelming to see these big stars, and Lindsay Lohan is playing, the lead character and all that kind of stuff. So,
I mean, there's nothing that I don't understand. I totally understand her being bitter about it,
Yeah.
being making
especially if
other
she
people more
hasn't-
money than her,
and especially if 20 years ago, she may have gone on to write other things, but this is the pinnacle of her career. This is the thing that became really popular. She might, and I don't know, might have had 3 other books that just did okay. But sometimes you have that one hit and it's so big and you're like, I should be able to be living off this for the rest of my life, but I'm not.
Right. But I don't know that
Yeah.
if you, and because you can't really go back and change what you made as a contract, right? So then you have
Right.
to either,
But
Well-
I mean, what's really interesting is like Reese Witherspoon and especially Reese Witherspoon, she went and bought the rights to all these books, and that's her production company.
right?
And I'm sure those people are getting compensated fine, but still, who's to say that one of those books is not going to be Breakfast at Tiffany's or
Right.
Mean Girls? We don't know.
Yeah.
And then, but what was smart is that that's how she built this big company that I think sold for like $1 billion because there's so much content. And I remember when, that's why there's like original screenplay and there's adaptations for a screenplay from a book or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a whole different category for writing. And when it was completely your idea from scratch versus like you got it from an article or you got it from a book.
I wonder what, I was thinking about this the other day because I wonder what it's like for the woman that wrote You, right? Because that's based off of her first book, that I think was called You, Caroline.
The series, which is on Netflix.
Yeah. Caroline Kepnes, I want to say
Yeah.
is her name. I might totally have that wrong. I remember reading the book, but now it's gone on to however many seasons and they're way past what she wrote, but they're still using the same characters. And I know she's still credited as like based on her, but I just wonder, does it go, okay, do they now say, if it goes into season 2, you're still getting, if it goes in, who knows? I mean, they're probably doing that more now than they were obviously when this woman,
Right. Well,
when Mean
speaking
Girls
of
was sold.
speaking of You, I was at Lala Kent's daughter's party, Ocean's party, and Amber, who was the lead in the first series, the first season of You,
Okay.
the first girl he gets obsessed with.
Yeah.
And Lala's like, do you know Amber? And I go, no, we've never met, but I loved you in You. And I go, to be honest, I'm not into this season. Are you watching it, season 4?
Yeah, I like it.
You do like it? Okay,
Yeah.
should I give it another chance? Because when I started to watch it, now they're in England and it's like all these other people might be murderers. And I'm like, I felt like it was so different than the first 2 or 3 seasons. Like it feels like a whole different thing.
It is different, but I kind of like that about it,
Okay.
I think. I just like that it sort of branched out because I feel like it probably would have gotten maybe too repetitive otherwise. So I mean, I don't know. That's what I was kind of saying about
Yeah.
her being deviating so far probably from, I mean, I don't know if she's written a book that they're now
Right.
basing these off of or what, but yeah, I do like it. I think it's good.
Or
this
it's like,
season.
it's also like The Conners. Is,
Yeah.
it was called Roseanne. It was based on Roseanne's life, Roseanne's character as a comedian, her whole thing. The show goes forever. It comes back as Roseanne. And then when they get, when she got canceled for her tweets and got kicked off, they're like, we're just going to call it The Conners now. But it's all those characters. The
Right.
girls playing her daughters were based on the way she talked about her daughters on stage.
That's true. So I wonder
Yeah.
if but she must still have some kind of
Yeah,
name on that, right? As far as,
I don't know the legal thing, but
Yeah.
there was. I remember reading that there is some kind of interesting gray area in that they must have had something in there that they could get rid of her, and it's not like the show has to stop.
right.
And I think they just like never. I don't watch it now, so I don't know if they like just never talk about her or like her character or ever say her name or what.
I don't know either, but it'd be weird to have something you created, then you get knocked
So-
out of it.
Giselle is riding horses with this hot guy. There's some dating rumors. Okay, the reason she felt she had to do this because Daily Mail got photos of her on a horse ride, which it looks like he's on a very small horse.
It does look like he got
He's
the
looks like
short
he's
horse.
like at like the short horse, like a pony ride where it's like got a string where you go around and around for a kid's party. And he doesn't look very happy, but whatever. He's on a horse. And she looks like she's like more active in this still shot. Like she knows how to ride a horse for many reasons. But anyway, so he is a hotel magnate. He's a billionaire. He looks pretty young. He looks pretty cute. And he was the ex-husband of Elle Macpherson, who is a supermodel.
Right.
So he went from one supermodel to another, and she went from Tom Brady, who I don't think he's a billionaire, but he has a lot of money, to him, which is what I always say, where I feel like kind of these elite people will date each other's exes. They kind of want the ex-billionaire, ex-super, like,
Yeah, because what are you going to do if you're Giselle? Date the guy at the deli? You know what I mean? Like, it's going to,
right.
I mean, you could, but it's going to be, I mean,
Well, she was, originally people thought she was dating the karate guy,
right.
who were her kid's karate instructor.
Oh, right.
But I don't think so. I think she just brought the karate instructor because she can, and she wanted the kids to like have something to do.
I mean, I actually would suggest her just dates like the guy from the deli. I don't know who this person is that I keep making up the guy from the deli, but it's like, because she has enough money that it's like, you want someone at your level, but she has enough money. She can be like, I don't need you at my level. I can pay for everything. Let's just hang out. Like, you don't necessarily have to get it messy with another billionaire and a Elle Macpherson ex, and then you got to run into each other at the runway shows or whatever it is models
But
do.
it's so much better if your ex is Tom Brady and you're like, oh, here's my billionaire that
Right.
also dated like a hot, gorgeous woman or was married to a hot, gorgeous woman.
Right.
Like, let me shove it in your face as we go on this horseback riding trip.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, and
we haven't seen him dating anyone.
No, not yet.
He did the thirst trap photo. That was like pretty disturbing.
He did do it. And I guess it was some kind of bet, but
it was
yeah,
a bet now?
it definitely.
Oh, you have
wow.
some inside football scoop for me?
No, I just read it somewhere because I was like, I've never seen him do anything like this. It's so weird. And then I saw that he tagged maybe a company that he either owns. I forget what it is, but I remember going to that page and then kind of being like, okay, I did it like I said I would. Some kind of bet that he lost. We all lost a bet that day.
Yeah.
I feel like we had to see that. It was just, I mean, obviously the man, handsome man, nice body, but it was just seems so out of character for him.
Right. And it's what I always say. It's just like, you two, you have to stoop to our level. Like, leave it for the
let us be
thirsty
thirsty.
groveling. Yeah, like you don't need to.
Yeah.
We know it's not like he had to show his new, like, worked out body. Like, whoa, Tom Brady must have joined 24-hour fitness. Like, we know you have a good body.
Yeah.
Like,
play football.
Yeah, you've been like the quarterback for. Oh, poor Jlo and Ben. They cannot find a $64 million house to save their life.
Oh, boy.
They had to drop out of escrow once again. This is the third home. My God, just a young couple
trying to buy
a house in California.
Trying to get their first home together.
Got any mortgage brokers, juicy scoopers that can help this couple out? They have fallen out of escrow 3 times. This is the third one in the last year. So now they couldn't find. First they had a really gorgeous, modern, brand new kind of farmhouse, modern house in Palisades. That one's gone. Now there's this one is gone. Now they're looking in Homely Hills, which is like a very fancy part of LA.
Oh, it's in okay, it is California.
Isn't it kind of like Hancock Park area?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Anyway, I would have done the Palisades. I would have stuck with the Palisades, but you know what? They didn't ask me.
That's right. They didn't. And you do have, you have real estate history.
I
So.
do. And he did recently respond about that Grammy moment where they were caught on camera where she was like, stop it, shh,
Yeah.
And he said what happened was he said he thought it would like be fun and Trevor Noah was approaching. So he was like, oh God, they're framing us in the shot. But he didn't really know they were rolling. So he leaned in and was like, as soon as they start rolling, I'm going to slide away from you and leave you sitting here next to Trevor. And I can like go to the bathroom and I think have a cigarette. Okay.
Right.
And then she goes, you better fucking not leave. And that's what we saw.
Oh, I believe that.
I remember thinking, he says he's gone to events in the past and been drunk and bored and pissed, but this was not the case. So he's like, yes, I can see why people thought that because I've been a grumpy,
Yeah.
drunk But
he was like, I was just trying to do a
he
funny
just was
thing.
like, oh, this is perfect. Like, he's going to come in and then he's going to come in. I see they're framing us for something. He's going to probably give like a one-on-one interview with you. So let me leave so you could do that because I don't care.
Right. And she's like, no, don't
And
leave
then
my
they cut
side.
that.
I want to. Yeah.
Yeah. But when I remember seeing it and thinking,
It didn't look like she was that. It would look more like, no, you don't do that. Yeah.
it's like I thought he was saying something like obnoxious. The people were doing memes that he like farted or was like, I'm going to fart. And she was like, ugh, just like you would with your husband.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that he addressed it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he probably got sick of reading about how grumpy he seems. He's probably like, all right, guys, like, just leave me alone. Let me be grumpy.
What he should have said is like, I was grumpy because the next day we had to go get into a realtor's car again.
And fall out of $64 million escrow.
And just find a house that, had what we needed.
Now, why did they drop out of escrow? Can you tell me how that works?
They did not explain, but normally, you put down your money and you have a contingency period where you can, make sure that the house is okay. And then, and if you're getting a loan, whatever the hell. So you have but there isn't a lot of window. And if you wait too long, then you lose your deposit.
Okay.
And, if it's in a competitive market, when you watch like real, $1 million listing and stuff, it's always like no contingencies, all cash, close in 7 days. Those people can't drop out.
Right.
But in a $64 million house situation, which I'm sure there's not a lot of buyers, there must have been a little bit of a leeway in which then they changed their mind for whatever reason.
Like, so that's them dropping out. It's not them, they dropped out. It's not like their credit check didn't go through.
It wasn't like, wow, Jen and Ben, we found out that you don't have an 800. And what is this Macy's bill? There's a $35. I didn't even know I had a Macy's card. Oh, motherfucker, Jen. Yeah, no, I don't think that was the case. So good luck to them. This is sad. This guy is a model, and he fell out of his skyrise building.
Oh my God, where?
But they think it was because she was taking a selfie. And I think
it looks
so
like,
too.
yeah, I was going to say, it looks like it's
based on
Florida.
his body and everything. So his agent says he thinks it was accidental because they were texting just 24 hours before and he sounded happy and they were joking about an upcoming audition. And he was in his own apartment tower in Miami. He was only 35. They had scheduled to chat and check up on Friday, and he was so proud of him for his move to Miami. Couldn't wait to tell her all about it. And then his brother posted on Facebook that this was a suicide due to his battle with mental illness. So we don't know, and they're working on it. Whether he took his own life or not.
So obviously he fell out of window. So obviously initially they thought he jumped, and the agent is saying, "Well, I'll be honest. Which one? Do you want your agent stepping in and saying, no, I think he was taking a selfie?"
I don't know which one's worse.
I know. I mean, I'm not trying to. I mean, it's awful. But like, do you?
No,
Do you want your legacy to be? I mean, never mind. I should say it's all terrible, but it just seems like.
Well, listen, the amount of video and awful things out there of people, kids, trying to just take TikTok's photos on like risky things.
Yes, it does freak me out.
When I went to the Grand Canyon many, many years ago, I bought a book on like Grand Canyon deaths. And the amount of people that like went an extra step, like over the thing to take a photo, or how people's wives accidentally wanted to walk around the edge at night.
Yeah.
Because once you go off of there, there's no one's ever going to find you to get your body. Like there's no way to even get it. So yeah, I mean, but people do that. They want that perfect shot. They want that.
Yeah, I see it too. You see it too often. I mean, it's kind of, you can be entertained when it's like influencers in the wild and it's just someone doing something really stupid. We saw we were in Mexico and we saw these girls. They kept going on. It was like half of a washed out like boardwalk thing, right? So it had caution tape around it, but it's like this really pretty view right in the middle of the water. So everyone wants to get on there to take a photo, but it's clearly saying, don't do it. It's half broken, you're gonna fall, whatever. It's caution tape, whatever. this poor guy working at this hotel all day had to keep going and telling people to get off of there because they just wanted a fucking Instagram shot.
Yeah.
And then we saw it happen. This one guy was just like, the guy working the beach, he was just like, just forget it. I'm just going to let these assholes do what they want because they're clearly, it was like a mom and her daughter. I mean, the woman was like, I don't know, probably like 60 years old or something, and like her 20-something-year-old daughter. And they kept like defying him and going, he'd walk away and then they'd like run up and try to get over the caution tapes. And then they get up there and what happens? They go flying into the ocean and collapsed underneath it. I mean, it was shallow and they didn't get hurt, but I mean, I laughed my ass off.
Yeah.
Because he's told you 16 times.
And then you were like, John, I'm going to go over it just real quick. I'm going to be much quicker than them. Yeah.
I did try to get photos of it for influencers in the wild, but I was too fast. I was too slow.
You're too. Speaking of influencers, Black China has removed some of the filler from her face.
Oh.
Everyone thinks she looks great. And she already removed her butt filler.
How do you get that removed? She looks younger, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Is that from removing the filler, you think? Like,
I
didn't even know
so.
you could remove filler, to be honest.
Oh, really? No, I guess you can. I don't know how they can find it, but whatever, they do. Then this guy got buccal fat removed. You know what buccal fat is?
No.
That's when people want to have cheekbones. They just take this part out.
Okay.
But then the problem is, if you do that as like a young, 25-year-old, you might look real chic and modelly. But then at 35, you're going to want that buccal fat back.
Right. I think that's what people forget, like when they try things too young. As do whatever you want. I'm all for it. But just remember, you're probably going to want to tweak stuff when you're older, not so much when you're younger.
So wait, what is this cat's name? The buccal fat? Liam Payne, and he's from One Direction.
Did you say what is this cat's name?
Yeah. He's from One Direction, and now I guess they think the bottom of his face has changed. Whatever he's done, it looks good.
I was gonna say I like it. I think it looks
I
good.
think it looks
That's
good.
a very good
Some people need to
chiselly.
get their buccal fat removed.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's a nice chiselly situation.
Yeah. Amy Robach finalized her divorce with Andrew Shue. It only took a few months, and she and TJ Holmes,
Forbidden lover.
they did run the marathon. You remember that? And part of the reason that is alleged, like that they broke up, that she and Andrew Shue broke up, and that she fell in love with TJ Holmes, is that Andrew Shue was not as supportive of her running endeavors, and TJ
really?
also ran, and so they run together and they did the marathon together.
Mm.
Now, the other part of this divorce that's interesting, and supposedly they're getting a show or doing a deal together, whatever. They're in love. They got kicked off Good Morning America, but
They did. They got fired, right?
they settled out, and they were like, she did like the jump in his arms. So whatever money they got, they were happy with. And I think
guess,
she got
but-
more than he, because I think she was on longer, and because she had only had one affair and he had multiples.
So they've just bought them out because they were like, this is too much for us. But
It was a closed door mediation.
To me, I'm like, why don't you just keep them on? People tuning in every day to see how they're doing, kind of thing, or maybe they want it out. Who knows?
I just think that like it was such a mess morally when they found out that he'd had 2 other affairs with girls that had worked there prior to her, one being a married producer and one being like a 23-year-old intern or whatever.
Oh, didn't know that.
Then it was like, we just need to get these people gone.
Got it. Yeah.
But anyway, one of the things about their now breakup, she and Andrew Shue, now they don't have any. Can you see if they have kids together? I believe he brought 2 boys and she brought 2 girls into the marriage.
Right.
And now they're divorced. But one thing I know for sure they have is a dog.
Oh.
And they are going to share custody of the dog. And we were talking about this because in the breakup of the Vanderpump kids, they don't have any biological kids together, and the kids are kind of older, so that's a clean break.
Okay.
But the dog, they're supposedly going to share custody of. And Annie and I were talking about how the Vanderpump breakups, there's been couples that have broken up and gotten divorced, and there's been issues of, can I see the dog, or we are going to set a schedule for the dog. And I'm sure this is more of an LA thing than anywhere else because people are insane about their dog. But why would you want to do this? Why you got to let the baby go to somebody else? Like be the bigger person and let whoever the main person is. Now you have a cat.
2.
Okay. Wow, so aggressive.
We got 2 cats now.
If something was to happen to you and John, okay, God
Mhm.
forbid, did you have 2 so that you would each take your favorite? Or are you going to be full-blown cat mom, or is he going to be full-blown cat dad and you're going to move on clean slate and never visit those cats again?
I mean, this is why I can see why this is a problem for them, because I don't know. I would normally have thought that I would just keep the cats and he wouldn't care, but now he's like obsessed with the cats. So I don't know. I mean, if I cheated, I guess maybe I'd let him take 1 cat because I'd feel guilty, and then I'd take the newer one because she's not as lovey-dovey, and
Okay.
he's obsessed with Ralphie. So maybe if he cheated, I'm taking both cats.
Yeah, let him
And
be alone.
Yeah, let him just be alone and
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
And if we just get a divorce just
Yeah.
cause, then
Yeah.
I guess
Each take one.
just each take 1. It just seems like a lot of work to have to like stay in touch with that person. If you don't have
Right.
children, and then you have to then like see them every day and be like, "Hey, I want to take, Pippi for a walk." And he's like,
And then
"Remember?"
imagine like your new partner being like, really, dude?
Yeah.
Like, you really have to go meet Sarah at the vet? Like, come on. Like, enough. Like, I
Yeah.
just think like a divorce is like so bad, or a breakup is so bad that like I do kind of think of, remember that story from the Bible where this woman, her baby was stolen by this other woman, and she kept saying, "It's my baby," and the other lady goes, "It's my baby." And so the elder in the town holds up the baby and goes, "Okay, well, I'll cut it in half, then you can each have part of it." And then the woman who jumps up and says, then forget it, let her have it. And he goes, "Now that's the real mother." So the more
Oh,
selfless person.
yeah.
So I do feel, even with these pets, like, just be, as long as
I feel like
be-
nobody would have let them cut the baby in half. I do feel like just because the one woman spoke up first doesn't mean the other woman wasn't going to say the same thing.
Yeah, we'll never know who's.
But no, but yeah, you gotta
Yeah.
at some point.
I think it's just a lot, and I just think, like, in my relationship, Raven is just completely weirdly obsessed. I think it's weird, but I mean, I'm not a dog. Okay, lots of dogs have like a primary human, and if he's not around, she's cool. She'll go for a walk if she sees me in a pair of tennis shoes. Like, she gets excited for that. But if he's around, she has to follow him. She has to wait outside the door when he takes the shower. She has to,
Okay, so she's
and
if
so of
something
course
happens,
he can have her.
yeah,
I would never, even if he cheated, I would never, because that's how selfless I am about Raven. I would not torture Raven. Just because if Peter cheated, I wouldn't go, I'm keeping the dog to torture Peter, because I would also be torturing Raven.
and yourself, because you would be like, this dog doesn't even really like me, and I know that she misses Peter.
Yeah, why would I do that? That's just like cruel. So I think, as much as it is, you have to be the bigger person. There's one person that either is more into the dog, or the dog is more into them, or they have a better situation for raising it. Like, maybe one has the house and one goes off to an apartment. Like,
Yeah.
let the person with the house and the yard keep the dog.
It's like I do get it, because it would be so hard for me to give up one of my animals but I just think at the end of the day, it becomes more stressful for you
Yeah,
guys
just-
to have to
just-
see each other. Like, there's no way that Andrew Shue is like excited to have to see her all the time, because he probably hates her because she cheated on him publicly and humiliated.
And she's like, can you bring the dog with some flowers at the finish line of the New York Marathon when TJ and I cross?
Yeah.
Can you imagine if he did do that?
I can't.
Like that scene from Flashdance at the end of the movie, when she tries out to audition for the ballet, and then she comes out, and the guy, who, by the way, was like 38, and she was only 18 in the movie Flashdance. Remember, she was a welder, dancer, stripper?
Yeah.
And she comes running out, and he's there, and the dog's got a bow around his neck and flowers,
Oh, right.
and it was her dog.
Yeah. Well,
He could have done that.
I sure could have.
This is really juicy. I've talked a lot about this. Teen Vogue article about influencer parents and the kids who had their childhood made into content. So there is this girl who's remaining anonymous who does this interview, her parents started to do a YouTube when she was very young. And so now she's almost 18, and she says, once I turn 18, I am cutting off all ties with my parents. This has been awful. Every single thing in my life has been documented and put out there when I didn't want it. And when we became successful as a YouTuber family, both the parents quit their jobs and bought a nicer house. And so when there's been times where she said, please, I don't want to do the videos. I don't want it to be exposed. At one time, this like before TikTok and stuff, somebody, saw her riding her bike, and that man knew that she was the kid from YouTube, and like it was scary and everything. And then the parents would say, well, if you do that, then you're going to have to leave your school, and your siblings won't get to do these activities, and we're going to have to sell this house, and mom and I are going to have to go back and get jobs. So, you don't have a choice. Like this is our life now.
All based off of you.
Like we've created this thing without your consent.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I think it's really different than a child actor, because a child actor, even if they got pushed into it by the mom or dad, they're still playing a role. They're
Right.
not being themselves in their own home. They still can leave the Disney set and go home and be their own name and do their own thing. And then there's the Coogan laws, which protect them with money, and how many hours they can work and all of that. But this is nothing. So there's different rules now, I think, in a few different states that are not rules, but initiatives, laws that are coming out where people are saying like these kids there has to be some laws in place about how much the consent and the money and the income from like this stuff.
Okay, so actually this makes me think of something that so do you know who Jamie Otis is?
Mm-mm.
Well, I'm a Married at First Sight expert, as you know.
Okay. Yes, you are.
As I have a podcast on it. And she's like the OG, like I think from the first season. So she was kind of famous for, but in Married at First Sight world,
Yeah.
for being like when her husband walked down the aisle, she was like horrified. She hated him. She wasn't
Because
attracted
it's love at
to him.
first sight. So
Yeah.
she didn't like what the sight
Right.
was. Yeah.
But then it turned out that she fell in love with him,
Oh.
and they're still together all these years later, and they have kids. So she's very much like a very, very big oversharer, in my opinion, on
Mhm.
Instagram. But whatever, it's not my business what she wants to post.
Right.
But I saw this yesterday. So, because one time she had posted this thing about her husband, Doug, and she was like, she's one of those people that her every post is like paragraph after paragraph, right?
Okay.
So she had written this thing one time that I thought, not my business. Maybe her husband said it's fine, but she was like, nobody knows this, but when we first got together, Doug had all this debt and we weren't able to buy a house and my life was ruined, like kind of like humiliating him, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
But whatever. But then, so she posts her kids a lot, and yesterday or a couple days
Now,
ago,
how old are the kids?
they're, small. One of them's like not potty trained.
Okay.
Like 3 maybe or something, she said, I think. She said there were potty training issues. I don't know.
Again,
Whatever.
now that kid's going to grow up, and everyone's
Well,
going to know that you
wait till you hear
were in
what-
a diaper at 3.5.
Yeah,
Go
and
on.
wait till you hear. So then
Okay.
they're at like a hot tub at an apartment complex, it looked like. And she basically posted her kid shit in the hot tub. And and she wanted to get him out of there fast so he wasn't embarrassed. And then she posts him crying. She posts caution tape. She posts like a shot of his his poopy diaper. Like she posted, and I've never commented on something like this. And I was like, you don't want him to be embarrassed. You have to, like, the internet's forever. He's not a kid forever. When he grows up in a few years, he's going to be like, do you have to really? And then other people are like, oh, it's just a kid. What kids poop and who cares? But it's like, he didn't get to decide that you post a video of him bawling, red-faced, caution tape up. Like, I think that's a little, in my opinion, I don't think that's
No,
appropriate, but it's also not my business what she wants to post. I get that. But that
Well,
kind of stuff, I
think
feel like.
I think it's really interesting because it's like a long time ago, my mom loved this writer named Irma Bomback, and she
Mhm.
was this mom from the East Coast, and she had 5 kids, and she would write the funniest stories about her life and her teenagers. And like, I remember reading this funny thing that she got like a pornographic call, and she was so excited just to talk to someone other than her kids. And it was like these really funny comedic essays.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I was like, oh my God, I remember that book. So when I was writing my books and stuff about being a mom, I was like, you know, this was kind of the pioneer of this. And then, of course, we talk about our lives on stage, and you could tell a story like about it on stage. And I do think that's really different than actually video documenting the subject at that age.
Yeah. I just think
Like it's, yeah, because it's like
Yeah.
also as a stand-up or a writer, we're taking creative control. It doesn't mean this happened exactly this way, or my kid said this exact same words, because we're writers and performers.
and people know that.
Yeah.
And you're and I do think there's a difference, but when it's like to actually video like his butt and poop and like, you know, him crying, like I just felt bad for the kid. I was like, that doesn't, again, she's his mom. It's up to her. It's not, but I just,
But
that
I
kind of
know,
stuff.
but I mean, yes, it's up to her, but then it's also up to us as a society to say, you know, no, this isn't okay. And maybe as a parent, you haven't really thought it all the way through, because everybody's doing it and it's become your income. And
It
you're
has, and I
reliant
think-
on things happening that you think, oh, won't this be relatable? But in the way of you sharing it, I mean, had she gone in her car and been like, I don't know why I'm going to say it with a Southern accent, but I'm just going to say it like a and she was like, girl, we just left the Wolf Lodge. If that wasn't a shit show, let me tell you why.
Yeah.
And just said it, I think that would be totally different.
Than filming him in the aftermath.
And even said like my child and didn't even say his name or whatever. I think that'd be completely different than like the aftermath of this. And also, like, you know, sick people are following moms with young kids just so that they
Yeah.
can see young kids in the wild and have access to their life
Yeah.
in the home and in the bed, and as they're getting a diaper changed and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like
And
really weird.
And it's also like, I mean, you know, when something happens, you're like, oh, it's going to be great content with Peter,
Right.
whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people on this particular thing were like, well, you're saying you don't want him to be embarrassed. You're saying you remain calm. You're saying how humiliating it was. And then, but immediately you were filming it. Like she's filming it while he, like it obviously just happened. It's not as if, like you said, later she talks about it. So it's just kind of like, where's the line for
Right.
deciding what, I don't know.
Well,
is-
in this article, a couple very popular influencer moms have changed their ways, and is like, you know what, I'm not going to feature my kids anymore. If I'm doing something with them, they're going to be off camera, or I can still talk about my life, but they're not going to be making the cake with me or whatever.
Yeah.
You know. But there's this guy that somehow started popping up in my like Reels and For You page. And I recognized him because he was this SC football player who then became like a professional player, and he's good looking. And he lives in Manhattan Beach. And all of a sudden someone sent it to me because he was doing that like thing that girl Tinks used to do. She started it during the like Palo Alto Mom Starter Kit, you know, and talks, if you wear this kind of shoe, your kid goes to this school. So he kind of copied that, and he was doing it about a Manhattan Beach dad. This is
Okay.
the car you drive. This is the whatever. And because he's sort of famous and now he's a Manhattan Beach dad, it kind of went wild. So somehow he pops up again. And I'm like, again, who is this? Like, why is he? Why? And it's so weird when all of a sudden somebody, if you've noticed this, that like had a career before, whatever, and they're like clearly over 40. And you're like, what assistant did you hire that was like, I'm going to make you a social media star? They're doing trends, they're doing bouts, and you're like, what is going on? They're dancing. You're like, what is this? This doesn't even go with like what your business is.
Yeah.
Or what? And I'm like, so you're just trying to like get 1 million followers and be this funny person.
Yeah.
So he does this video and he's like, you know, wife's gone for 3 hours and this is what I'm dealing with. And there's like a 3-year-old on a couch having a full meltdown crying, got the camera on him. Then goes around and he goes, and then I've got this one over here who's like in the kitchen, who's like taking Glad bags out and whatever playing. And he's like, how you doing, buddy? Having fun? And I immediately thought, oh my God, this guy just is like doing anything to like become a new star. I don't know if he's like run out of money. I don't know what is going on with this, but like, and then the comments were like, you know, why don't you put the phone down and consult your 3-year-old? He is probably needs a nap. And you need to like get him in a place where he can go to sleep. And like you just said your wife is gone and you're watching him. And the way you're watching him is filming them and posting while one kid is having a breakdown and then rewarding the other one who's not having a breakdown, which is already going to start weirdness between your kids. And anyway, I went back and he did remove the video.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
I think sometimes I try not to comment on stuff like that because I'm like, it's not, again, my business or my place to tell someone. But sometimes I think if you do comment, someone might actually go, oh, I didn't,
Yeah, I
like
don't think he
a
thought
little bit of
about
a wake
it.
up call, like, okay, that was too far.
Yeah.
Or, I wasn't, I thought it was going to be funny, but I see where people
Right.
thought that it was kind of not the right thing to, like every once in a while, without being an asshole, you can kind of make a suggestion maybe. And they
Because
go,
I mean,
oh,
think about it if when you just are having like your worst day or breakdown or you're crying and you're in a vulnerable moment and the person you feel most vulnerable with is your husband John. And as you're crying and everything, he's like, "What? You don't like the way your jeans fit?"
yeah. Oh,
Sarah,
he'd be,
Sarah feels fat today.
yeah.
Sarah, what's
There'd
going
be a
on?
wellness check at our house after that
Yeah.
from the local police
So I'm
department.
like, but that is when your kid is crying and it's home and having a meltdown. They're having that meltdown at their home and hopefully not school because that's where they feel the most comfortable.
Right.
And it's like, why are you crying, buddy? Why? I
Yeah.
just think people like that's why I've been talking a lot about this because I just think there's really good parents out there that have found themselves in this position to be doing this. And there's a way that maybe you could still be an influencer and make money online and not like completely exploit your kid.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a balance. I'm not saying you have to take them away completely.
Yeah,
but maybe
throw away your iPhone. But
yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, there's a balance.
Yeah. There is this new thing coming out that you wear this ring that's like somehow like a little like iWatch, but it's a ring. And so when you're out in the wild in public, you will get a signal that there is a single person within, whatever, some yards of you. Right? Did I basically explain that right? Yeah. Because, they're saying people need to, and I thought it was a good topic, and so did Annie, because I'm like, more and more people like don't leave their homes and need to go out. Everyone complains about the dating apps. And so this would be a way that you could go out, but still, I guess not hit on people who are married, or you really hit on people that like are down to be single. But then now I'm thinking about, I think it could be a nightmare.
I'm trying to decide because at first I thought, well, then you just have more people bothering you. But at the same time, like if you're wearing it, I guess it's because you're wanting that, right? Like
Right.
not you're wanting to like make connections and meet strangers. Whereas like that's my, if I'm sitting at a bar, I'm like, please don't anyone talk to me. I'm sitting alone for a reason, right? Whereas if you're wearing this ring, it's because you're like, hey, I'm approachable.
Right. And you could always leave the ring at home.
Right.
If you just are like, I'm not feeling it right now. But if you're like, you know what, I got all cute. I'm going out with my girlfriends and I want to be approached by as many people as possible. And if nobody knows what this ring is, it's fine. It just looks like a little ring.
Right. But if someone else.
I mean, some people say wearing a wedding ring is what gets you approached more. Because they're
Yeah.
like, are you happily married or not married at all or whatever? There's some like, I'm married, or like I'm married and they go, happily?
Yeah.
I don't
creepy.
know.
Well, I can't decide how I feel about this yet. I feel
I
like
know.
it seems that, I mean, I guess it's one way to make it. I mean, it does suck that people feel that they can't meet people at bars and everyone's on their phones and apps. So
Yes.
if this is a new way to sort of make it easier to where you actually know who's single, but it's also, I don't know, it feels weird.
Yeah, it does kind of feel
Like a little ping ring, like, hey, everybody,
yeah.
looking for some.
Oh, you know what's also bad is that then you can't. Oh, you know what's really bad is that you can't lie. Then say you're taken. So now you go out to the bar. You're
Right.
You're doing some cleavage. You're ready to. You have some drinks. You're ready to meet somebody. But then somebody comes up to you and you're not into it. And then you're like, oh, I have a boyfriend,
Right.
or I live with someone. But thank you so much for the cocktail, and you're a sweetheart.
They're like, but you're wearing the ring.
Yeah.
And so it's just me you don't like. Yeah, that's the
Oh,
see,
and then they
that's
get
g-
real angry.
Yeah, that's going to be the
You
problem.
bitch.
Yeah.
Some of the.
Well, yeah, take off your ring then, you bitch. Well, what about can you imagine though if you're like your husband goes out next and like he puts on the wrong ring and he comes home and you're like that you have the ping ring instead of that's not your wedding ring. Like
Yeah. Yeah. What are you doing with that ping ring? Or you
Yeah.
find it in your husband's car?
yeah.
because it's like, yeah, this seems like an episode of the Black Mirror Twilight Zone.
It does
Yeah.
kind of, yeah. It feels like it could go awry.
So it's called the world's biggest social experiment. I don't think it's the world's biggest, but I mean, I think love at first sight might be the biggest.
yeah.
Well, if you're looking for somebody, sometimes you can find it at work. Okay, in the UK, they have a very cushy jail, and 18 guards were fired over affairs, and these are women guards that are working at a male prison. 18 of them were boning prisoners, and
That's
they
a
all look
hefty
pretty
amount.
like attractive. And the prison looks like a nice, clean dorm that you'd pay like,
Yeah, what kind of-
$70,000 a year to like live in at, at some school in America.
Is
But
that
like, look at the gym and stuff. Believe in yourself.
believe in yourself?
It says believe in yourself in the gym.
Is that like is it a prison for, I don't know.
Like the way, I'm sure it's
Like
not murder or rape, but yeah, like
the-
I'm sure it's
the Martha
anything
Stewart,
but, yeah.
whatever kind of
So,
thing.
I mean, of course you're working out and then you're boning a person, but like this jail actually looks like Drake's dorm room at ASU.
yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
it looks nice. if
And
you're
that's
gonna-
what it is weird sometimes when I think about like dorms now. Because I'm like, you're paying so much money and it literally looks like what people would get in prison.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, and if you don't know the person before, you might as well be in a cell with someone. But and look, these guys didn't even bother to make up their beds, probably because they
No.
were boning the prison guard.
Yeah, the guard probably comes in and does it afterwards.
But
for
look,
him.
then this area looks like this is like where you'd go and like meet someone to go over, your accounting homework.
I mean, they're kind of setting it up they're kind of setting it up for you to have an affair because
God,
they're
look,
making it so cushy.
They
you know?
even have like the new black framed windows that are so in every like farmhouse in Encino. Like, what is this?
I don't know. I need to
Go
I
to
mean,
prison
yeah,
in the UK?
It looks like a nice getaway. Like that prison looks way better than that hotel I tried to stay in. So
I just want to talk about this dress. This is from Mugler, which is like a very expensive brand. It's like in the high-end designer brand if you go to like Nordstrom's or Neiman's. And Kim Kardashian shared this, and it said, "Dear Kim, sending you love, Team Mugler." And I put it on my thing. It looks just like a scrunchy black strapless, like Spanx type of a thing, but it's a dress.
but for your boobies to pop out.
It's for your nips. There's like there's a full nip out. Do you think this is an undergarment? No, Mugler wouldn't make an undergarment.
But why
I think your nips are supposed to be out.
I don't feel like you can. I mean, don't you get taken down off Instagram if you show nipples? You can't just walk around with your nipples out in a dress, can you? I mean, I'm all for it if they want, but I feel like you're not supposed to.
I want someone to explain this dress to me because I wonder, like, is this an undergarment and you want to have hard nips, like under,
Right.
or do you wear like another like sexy bra underneath?
But the reason I can't see it being an undergarment is because it's like so, what's the word, ruched or whatever. So it
Yeah.
wouldn't be smooth under something unless it just smooths out when you put it on.
I don't know.
We're going to need someone to explain that
Lindsay
one to us.
Lohan's having a baby.
Oh. That's fun. She got married, right?
She got married, and then Paris Hilton's book. Is Paris Hilton's book out today? Paris has been doing a lot of press. Of course, Paris has a baby, and she has a memoir coming out that I think will be pretty juicy.
Yeah.
She seems to be like revealing a lot. And she had some one of the stories she told was she had a teacher. She was going to school. I think it was LA, but maybe it was not. Maybe it was New York. So I want to read it, and I want to try to figure out like, because I looked up her school, and I think she went to the school called Buckley. But anyway, she had an 8th grade teacher, and he like tried to make out with her, and then was like hanging out with her outside of her home, and her parents like didn't know, and so I'm like,
Ew.
she's telling these stories, and I'm like, someone's gonna be able to find out who this teacher is.
Yeah, put it together.
Figure
Yeah.
out what year, if she was in 8th grade, what school it was, and how many male teachers were there
Yeah.
at that time. I mean, there's got to be someone's got to be out there that's like, I was in Paris's 8th grade class. It's
And-
got to be Mr. Johnson.
Yeah. And then he's going to have an awkward conversation with his wife or whoever he's married to or dating or whatever.
Or
now.
the 8th grader that he's dating.
Or, yeah. Yeah, it's going to be figured out. That's
But
going
I
to be
mean,
figured out.
obviously she's like 40 something. So this, now this guy's like 20 years older.
Right.
But yeah, this is sad. A Compton man used Grindr to target and rob more than 20 gay men. I'm sorry. I mean, that's not funny, but it kind of is.
Why? Why is it funny? No, this is this is what I worry about with that ring and stuff too. Like the things about.
I don't want anyone to get robbed as long as he's not murdering them. I don't want them to get robbed either. And I think it's really sad because it's like the ultimate con. Like they think they're meeting this guy, but he's just pretending to be gay. And they think they're going to have like a hookup or more, maybe more. And then he was robbing them. He used her profile with a different person's picture to arrange meetings. Oh, that's even worse.
Yes.
So now you think you're getting a cuter gay guy who is a non-robber, and you're getting a less attractive, possibly straight guy who is going to rob you.
Yeah, this is.
It's hard to be a gay guy in LA. This is from the LA Times, by the way.
And all of the this is the problem with dating apps too. Is you never. I mean, I always suggest people obviously meet in very much public areas
with a ring.
Yeah, and don't let someone come over or anything like that. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff that worries me about the things like the ring.
This is one of these photos from the LA Times. When I hope this is not a stock photo. I hope this guy actually is the guy that was doing it. Do you imagine if he was just like a model and they just threw in like a cute looking put together black guy?
Right.
Because when Fortune was on here, we were talking about like this girl. There was an article about this girl said she slept with her cousin, and it was a girl looking down like this. And then Fortune was like, wait, that's not the girl. I go, no, I just think that's like a stock photo for modeling. And then we were like, wait, that's kind of awful that like you could be that same person. Like I got my third, sexual transmitted disease in a year, and that could be the same person like this. But it's like, you can kind of tell what the person looks like.
Right. Well, and that in this case, yeah.
Because this guy looks like stylish and like cute.
And if that's the photo that he used, now you're putting out.
Yes, maybe it's the photo that he used.
But then you're putting out that person's photo, and they're going to think it's the person that was scamming.
Right.
So hopefully it's actually the person that was the scammer. Let's hope.
Anyway, he'd also use these guys, these unsuspecting gay guys. He'd use their phones to send Venmo payments to himself and would sometimes rob them at knife point. Well, the knife point part is bad.
Oh,
but that I talked about why you never hand your phone to anyone.
Yeah.
Even if someone's like, can I just borrow your phone really quick? And I just call in, and just call my friend to pick me up. This girl said to me when I was at the DMV.
Oh,
and
really?
I heard about that. And I was like, no.
Oh, because they want to do it.
Or first of all, they can take your phone and run off to a getaway car.
Right.
And then have some hacker go through all your shit. But also, if you have Venmo, I don't
or Apple Pay too, right? They can probably.
I only use Zelle. And Zelle, I have to put in my code.
Oh, okay.
Even on my own phone, so they wouldn't be able to do it. But I guess with Venmo and stuff, you can immediately just take the phone and be like, $500, send it to yourself.
Oh,
yeah.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
See, that's what you have to say. No, I'll call the person for you.
Yeah.
In case the person actually does need help.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess if you're, meeting this guy to grind with,
to grind with.
I mean, that's called why they named it that, don't you think?
I don't know.
I remember Grindr was,
I think it's just like because Tinder, they was just like using.
Well, Grindr was the first one ever.
Oh.
I remember it was Guy Branham who first told us that Grindr even existed.
Oh, it was before
when we were in
Tinder.
Australia.
But Tinder ripped them off.
Yeah. And he turned it on, and it was just like, I can find all the Australian gay guys within like a mile radius of me. And I did think that was kind of great.
No, it is. That's why, I mean, that's like, I guess that's why they're saying with the ring, I guess it's almost the same thing. Like you can just sort of have.
Signal. Yeah.
Like a bat signal.
Yeah.
That you're, I don't know.
Horny.
I worry about everybody.
Girl, tell everybody what are your next shows, how they can listen to your podcast.
Yeah, come this weekend to Batavia, Illinois, the Comedy Vault, the 23rd, 24th, and 25th of March. I am there.
Do you know where you're staying?
I don't yet. No, hopefully I don't. Not yet.
Well, maybe somebody who's going to go can vet some places and get a hold of Sarah Tell them where they can get a hold of you and DM you and give a good suggestion.
Usually I haven't had any bad experiences really lately, as of
You
late.
just
with
had
comedy.
one.
I know, but that wasn't a gig. That was going to
So
see a
what?
friend, and I made a mistake.
We obviously have juicy scoopers that are going to go see you that are listening.
Yes.
And,
I've already had someone write me and give me some restaurants.
okay,
so-
well, we also need a hotel. Why
Okay.
haven't you booked it yet? It's this week.
because they do it for me.
Oh, they're doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, then we don't need that.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yes, come see me there at the Comedy Vault. Listen to Are You My podcast if you're a Married at First Sight fan. And my Clutch Women bags, you always get 20% off Juicy Scoop if you're. It's Taylor Swift season.
It's Taylor Swift season.
Concert
it's
season.
Coachella. It's Stagecoach.
Yeah. You need
This
my
weekend
bag.
at the BNP, you had to have the right size of the bags.
Yes.
And thank God, we have Sarah's, and you can get a cute color. You can get it's a perfect size. It fits your iPhone, but the one will take it from you.
Right. It's the right size.
You don't have to walk back 2 miles when
No.
you realize that and put your lipstick in your cleavage and your phone in your pocket.
You should work for me.
I
You want
know.
to run my Instagram for Clutch Women?
Absolutely.
It's
So-
clutchwomen.com, by
So
the
just
way.
get one
Yeah.
so that you're set, and then just know that that's the bag, no matter what. Even if you're not 100% sure, better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they might change their rules. Like
They
my
don't.
sister said with the BNP, the tennis, it wasn't like that
Right.
the first weekend.
You always gotta
It
check
literally
before
changed.
you
It was
go.
2 weekends. The first weekend it wasn't like that. The next weekend it was the clear bag thing.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And clear bag means you can still have a 4x5x6x5 clutch that's not clear, which is what mine are. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you, everyone.